Okay, Judy, it is so good to see you again. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing fine. It's been a hot day, kind of dehydrated, but I got my big thing of water. So, how are you?
Good. I'm doing very well as well. It is so good to see you again, and everyone who hopefully will hop on here. We're going to be talking about the World Team Trophy recap and a few icy hot skating topics. So it was so fun to do our live after Worlds. We got to meet and kind of talk about Worlds over a month ago already. How have you been since Worlds?
Well, it's kind of a letdown. Every time the season ends, it's like, oh, there's no competition coming up because I love watching real competitions. But the World Team Trophy was like an extra, bonus because it's I think it's better than a regular competition because you finally get to see the personalities behind the skaters and the team spirit, the country's nationalism. It's just really fun.
I totally agree. I was like, I had kind of forgotten because it's only every other year. I think just for background for people who may be joining and don't know, World Team Trophy is a country-based team competition, which is fun because we haven't done many team competitions in skating since just since skating started in general. And so yeah, what happens is it's each country. There's going to be one pair, one dance team, two men and two women, and they're awarded points based on their placement. So I was just so happy, like, hey, we have one more competition, and now the season is officially done. So how do you feel now that it is over?
Well, once again, it's kind of like, oh, what am I going to do? It's kind of like a skating drought because now it turns out Skate America's not even going to happen until November before Thanksgiving. So I'm not even sure what's the first Grand Prix competition, but there are going to be smaller competitions like the Cranberry up in Massachusetts. I think that could be September-ish. And then they used to have this big competition called the Liberty Open, which I used to drive up to Pennsylvania to watch and report on. But I've heard it's not as big of a competition anymore. And they call it something like Philadelphia Open or something. So I'm
Yes.
not sure if I'd go. I think it's in July.
Yes, that one was always exciting. I remember the 2017 year, Brady Tennell. Well, that's when I first noticed her. She like won the Philadelphia Open, and that was a big thing leading into that Olympic season. And no, I agree. It's just like we're in this dry spell now. It's almost like a slight depression. It sounds dramatic, but it's like a slight depression sinks in. So I've really been looking forward to this chat with you. And actually, the Grand Prix is one of the slides for our hot topics. So yeah, if you want to get right into it, we could start with our World Team Trophy. And in first place with 126 points, Team USA rocking it out. We had in Team USA Jason Brown. He was also the team captain. Ilya Malinin, Amber Glenn, Alyssa Liu, Chalk and Bates, current world champions, and Efimova and Mitrofanov. What did you think of Team USA?
Oh, I was so proud of them. I mean, it's so much fun, and you can see how much thought the organizers put into planning because they had so many costumes and props and signs, and I just love those face caricature things that people were holding. It looks so well done. Look at that picture of Ilya's face. It looks just like him as a cartoon. So,
Yes.
I was just so excited. It was just like, oh my gosh, finally there's some skating to watch. But I'm not that big of a fan that I could wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning to watch it, though. So, what about you? Did you wake up early to watch it?
No, this one I just did it at my own comfort. I think I watched it on Peacock initially, but for some reason it's not geo-blocked on ISU. Normally, most ISU things are geo-blocked in the US for us, which kind of stinks. But I went back and rewatched some of them, and my goodness, it was just so much fun. I think this competition, more than anything, just spells out fun. And sometimes the scoring can be a little generous. We definitely had some personal bests here. But I
Yeah.
think it's really nice for skaters who like maybe didn't have the best season or maybe didn't do as well at Worlds for them to be able to kind of showcase their talents once again. So Team USA was rocking it out. I was loving all their funny like intros when the skater was in the kiss and cry. They do these little, they'd like fan each other or just do these funny little like asides. It was really, really fun.
The little choreographed goofy things like dancing around or, people holding up their arms so people could go through. It was just hilarious. So it was so much fun.
Yes, and really nice to see Efimova and Mitrofanov get this opportunity. One thing I didn't mention at the beginning is skaters also get prize money. It's one of the, well, to my knowledge, it's one of the few that has such high prize money. I believe it's $1 million, and it's split out amongst the teams based on their results, I'm sure. So I don't know if you follow ice dance and figure and pairs as much, but Efimova and Mitrofanov, they probably won't be able to go to the Olympics due to her citizenship issues, and they're the current national champions. So I was happy to see them get this opportunity. Did you think that no matter who was picked, USA would win this competition?
I don't know. I thought it could have been close with Team Japan. But then again, we have the world champions for dance, women's and men's. So yeah, so maybe I didn't really like predict though from the start that USA would win. So it was
Yeah,
still pretty exciting, like a
yeah,
real nail biter. Especially, especially with the women's, because I was kind of afraid that Alyssa might be too tired, you know, after Worlds and doing all the media and stuff. And you could tell that Ilya was tired. That's why he
yes.
had a bunch of mistakes, but he was still amazing and he still racked up tons of points. But nonetheless, it was still so fun to watch some skating because otherwise we'd have nothing to watch.
Yes, exactly. And no, I noticed that about Ilya too. He had a few mistakes in the long program and stuff, but I mean, to be fair, it's such a long season, and I believe one thing that was really big here is Alyssa got a personal best again. She bested herself from Worlds, and she beat Kaori Sakamoto again. And I don't know if you want to go into second place finishers here. Team Japan. How many points? I think they had 110. Yeah, 110 points.
Yeah.
Doing huge here. What did you think? It felt like Kaori looked a little, I don't know if I'd say sad, but I mean, I wonder how she feels being beaten again so close, soon after Alyssa beating her.
Yeah, she always has a big smile on her face, and she's such a good sport. But deep down, she and her coach have got to be concerned because she seems to be slowly going downhill, you know? Like she seemed invincible a couple of years ago, but time has gone on and she's become less less reliable because like it seems like her triple flip keeps giving her problems. And even when she like picked into her triple flip attempt, I remember thinking that just looks so shaky. I don't know how she gets height into the triple flip, much less a double flip. But in terms of just general speed and excitement and her power to her jumps and the flow and speed on the landings, it's still pretty incredible. It's just that she's not as reliable or consistent with her jumps anymore. So that's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like to just, again, the season being so long, my hope is that she can kind of just regroup from this and kind of put it behind her. I know that one thing I like about her coach, she seems like a legend, honestly. I love the way she like turns her around and pats her on the back right before she goes out. And I think her coach,
it's kind of like she's a little robot that she has to like set straight and wind up. It's like, okay, there you go. It's kind of funny.
exactly. All right, Cowrie, it's time to go. And
Yeah.
I think her coach had remarked, you know what, this is probably a good thing she lost Worlds this year. I still, going into the Olympic season, I do expect Cowrie to be somewhere on the podium. But again, with Russia coming back, we're going to have one Russian skater as a neutral athlete. Now the podium is a little more tighter. It's going to be harder. They're going to have to really just push and pull to get on there. So, I think Cowrie still did amazing. She got 220 here, nothing to sneeze at. And Monet Chiba getting 5th place with 208. That was a little more surprising to me. I thought she may place a little higher here.
Yeah. And I did feel like poor Shun Sato kind of got screwed over in both the short and the long because, he has beautiful speed, amazing jumps. He can do a quad lutz, and he did land it here. But, I guess he just loses on his grade of execution or something. But, I was just surprised that he seemed to be kind of dumped by the judges. So, did you think any of the judging was controversial?
I think so. I think because like you said, he has everything. And I mean, yeah, it makes me wonder why is he not always upheld as much as maybe like a Yuma Kageyama is. Although he did beat Yuma here, I still think he could have been even higher, maybe even 3rd or something like that. But it makes me wonder. I have heard and read a lot online that JSF does a lot of politicking, and like they'll kind of push only certain skaters. And so I just kind of wonder where he is in their eyes. I definitely think he could have scored a little higher here. It didn't seem totally right to me.
Yeah. I thought he should have scored above Jason Brown in the short as well as the long, but I wasn't there to see him in person. But I've seen him skate in person at Worlds as well as 4 continents a couple of years ago, and his speed is just mind-boggling. So let's hope he gets rid of that tacky short program Prince Charming shirt and wears a more flattering costume, and then maybe his scores will go up.
Judy, I have news for you. You just wait. It's coming up. But hold on to that note. We're going to cover that.
Okay.
Yes, I have a surprise for you. You're going to be very excited.
Ooh, okay.
Yes. And then I also wanted to remark on, it was interesting that in the men's 3rd through 6th only were within like a 5-point spread. So, it was really tight with those positions overall. Everyone getting in that like 260, 265 type of range. But Jason Brown getting 2nd overall with I think he had like 273. So again, another like kind of step upward for Jason compared to the rest of the field. So definitely interesting here. But I think what was important is they were having fun. Like that's what I love to see,
Yeah, because ultimately it's kind of like a made for TV, money award winning type of competition. So yeah, you can't take yourself too seriously when you have skaters dressed up in some wacky animal outfits or whatever they were doing, and the coaches like wearing umbrellas or something on their heads, and just overall goofiness. Oh, and of course Kevin Amos with his Sailor Moon outfit.
He's such a nut. Oh, so silly. Well,
Hey, this is not a real sport, is it? It's not a real competition when you got this guy like wearing a Sailor Moon outfit.
I know. Well, another very spirited team, Judy, is our third place team, Team Italy, really blowing it out of the water here. I don't know how many times, this may be the first time they've medaled at this team event, 86 points. What did you think of Team Italy here?
Oh, well, I mean, I think the top woman, wasn't that Laura Gutman, right? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I mainly took notes on the men as opposed to the ladies,
that's
but
okay.
so I feel like Laura actually did really well. You know, that was a surprise because I never paid much attention to her as a competitor. And of course, I was paying more attention to the men because I always love to see Nikolai Memhola. I
Yes.
always feel like he's underscored too, but he actually didn't do that great at this competition. He seemed kind of like burned out and, you know,
Yes.
everything seemed slower and sluggish. And plus, he's very, very tall, especially for a skater. So when you combine that with him looking tired, it's kind of like, oh, he's like crawling out there. So I don't know
Mhm.
what was going on. Did they have jet lag? Well, I guess a lot of people could have said they were jet lagged,
Yeah.
but I was just surprised that Nikolai, I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Nikolai. Yeah.
He didn't skate that well. And Daniel Grassel seemed to skate well, but I just hate his free skate. So
I know.
that clouds my impression of it. You know, it's so goofy when a woman starts like almost scatting and then you hear the glass breaking and all the drama. It's like, what the hell is that?
I know his Billy Elliot program. It is quite a lot. It certainly brings the drama, but I agree. I'm ready to retire that program. He's an enigma to me because we've talked about it before. I agree. I don't like his jump positions. He almost
Yeah.
like shirks his shoulders up, almost like he's like struggling for the rotation.
Yeah, he's like grinding around, and sometimes his like free leg is kind of looks like a wrapped,
Yeah.
sloppy position. He just looks really sloppy, and the landings are like eked out, and just
Mhm.
it's kind of bizarre that he was skating to this kind of ballet themed program when he's
Right.
one of the least balletic skaters. Yeah.
Yes. And that may be like a packaging choice. Maybe they're hoping we'll think he's balletic somehow by doing that. But he didn't fool us, Judy. We caught on. And one thing I will say though, I loved his quad loop here. Like quad loop is such a
Yeah,
beautiful jump
that
and
was a
such a
surprise. Yeah.
yeah, like and it's Ilya's hardest jump, and we don't see it very much from him. So to see Daniel do it actually quite well here, I would say. I think it was rotated. That was, I'll say that was a small perk here. But yeah, Nikolai, oh, he looked a little deflated, and he's very close to his mom. He's always talking about his mom in his interviews, so she'll probably give him a pep talk, and he'll be fine for next season. So
Yeah, he's one of those young, new to seniors men.
yes.
So I have hope for him.
And just a quick small note, you had mentioned Laura Naki Gutman. She actually got a personal best here. She finally broke 200. She got 201. And then I really like her compatriot Anna Paseta. She did not have a good competition, but the reason I like her, she reminds me of Courtney Hicks. These big, gigantic jumps. Her triple Lutz, triple toe in the short program was gorgeous. But then the rest is just like she can't control herself, just like Courtney. So I do hope that
Yeah.
she gets that under control because she's got a lot of talent. So
Yeah, actually, now that you talk about her, I do remember her because I was like, wow, look at that jump. But then she would fall, but it
yeah,
was so amazing. It's like the spring, she must get a lot of height in her jumps, but it's too
yes,
bad she couldn't hold the landing for a lot of things. Yeah.
yes.
Which
Well,
makes you think it must hurt like crazy to be
oh
falling on those big jumps.
no, I can't even imagine. Like my bones could not handle it at this age. No way. That's
Yeah,
a hard no. So
exactly. Yeah.
But
So were you paying attention to pairs and ice dancing too?
I did. I definitely like all the disciplines, and my goodness, with pairs, Conti and Machi did great here. I believe all the top three pairs teams got personal bests. Um, Another thing I really like it whenever you have time, check out Conti and Machi's exhibition. It's to is it Swan Lake? But he's the swan and she's the man, and it is just so silly. But they actually skate very well. She throws him at one point, and so it's funny. I
Okay.
recommend
Yeah,
it.
I think I watched some of it. I mean, it was just so much skating jam-packed over like 3
Yes,
days or something and at weird times. So it was hard while juggling work plus trying to
yes,
watch the skating before Peacock took it down. So,
yes.
yeah. Mhm.
Well, that leads us to our fourth place team. We had Kevin Amos, Adam Xiao Himfa, Laureen Schild, Leah Serna, Kovalev and Kovalev, Lopareva and Brissau. What were your notes about Team France here?
Let's see. So from what I recall, the ladies didn't do that well.
No.
Yeah, so that was kind of like a downer, but I paid attention to the men
Yes.
and let's see, what are my notes here? Let's see. Did I take notes on Adam? Maybe I didn't take notes on Adam. How could that happen? And Kevin, didn't both of them? Oh, so Kevin, let's see, he like fell out early on a quad toe.
Hmm.
He had nice flow on his triple axel, double axel. He has better spins and positions than Daniel Grassel. I think that's
Yes.
evident on TV, even. Then he did a gorgeous Ina Power to a
Mm.
triple axel. That's like his jump, his money jump.
Hmm.
Triple Salchow Euler to just a double Salchow. Then he
Mm.
did a bestie squat into a triple flip double toe. So,
Mm.
I guess he was probably hoping to do triples on those combinations, but he also had a nice hydroplane and leaps, and he actually looked satisfied and sort of happy, which is always a good thing because I'm always so worried about his emotional state since
Yeah.
he's a very emotional person. And it's
Yes.
just so sad and heartbreaking when you see him crying and boo-hooing with his coach when he doesn't skate well. So
Yeah.
I think that was like a decent skate for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
How did you
Adam
feel?
got Yeah, I think Adam got third and Kevin was seventh. And I mean, it's the end of the season again, so not too shabby. Although I just feel like the chasm between the men and the women in France is quite high because like Leah and Laureen, they only got I think seventh and eighth place. Um, Laureen Shield, I do like her triplets, triple toe. She actually reminds me of Laureen Lecavier, who was a French skater from like the 2015 to 2016 range. They,
Oh, you have a
yeah,
good memory.
well,
Wow.
she had one of my favorite short programs to um, Litavuko Ainati Experience, and and they have the same name, which is funny. But they also jump the same. Um, like they both have a very sideways triple lutz. Like almost, I'm like, how do they land that? But somehow they get it on their feet, and then the triple toe is also kind of sideways in the air. You know what I mean? Like where the
Mhm.
position is, it just looks off axis, but somehow they land it. And so I think she's got some really good qualities, but again, they're gonna have to kind of work on perfecting their tech and just kind of putting the whole package together in order to get up higher in the ranks. So a little disappointing, but overall not too bad. And Lopareva and Bristol got fourth here in ice dance, so that was good for them.
Yeah, speaking of sideways crooked jumps, what about Adam? He was awful. I couldn't believe it. Like this guy, I don't think he fully healed from his fractured ankle and having surgery last year because I just feel so scared for him. Every time he's like doing these wonky jumps and falling or, being totally tilted in the air and barely eking out the landing and stuff. Yeah, I don't have notes on him for some weird reason, but I seem to recall him messing up a lot. So do you recall like how he did? You said he actually wound up higher than Kevin.
Yes, Adam got third here. So and I really think it was his short program that held him up, because he got second there, but then fell apart in the long program was hard to watch.
Yeah.
You know, because he went for a quadruple lutz, quadruple toe, quadruple flip. He had a couple falls, and it was just very messy. I was kind of thinking about how you had mentioned he lands with that thud, and it just, because he doesn't get any flow out of the jumps, he just kind of, because he lands with a thud, he just sort of sticks on the ice and kind of falters out. So it looked really messy, and I want the backflip gone. His backflip looks sad, where it was like, dude, you don't need to do the backflip. Just take it out. We're cool. Like, just go for a clean, like good skate,
Yeah, that's right, because it's such a tremendous waste of his energy. Why doesn't he save it to landing his jumps better? Plus, is it true that a backflip doesn't even get you points? I don't think it does.
Correct. Yeah, no points. So you're just doing it for the wow factor. And I mean, are the judges gonna mark you up somewhere else for a backflip? I don't think so.
Yeah, because that stings. Like, even if there are no points, then why are you risking your safety plus wasting your energy? Because by then he's tired. It's at the end of the program, and Ilya does one too. So it's kind of like, like, I'd rather have you land some jumps. So wasn't that such a contrast with Jason Brown, seeing Adam just being a complete mess out there?
Yes. And it made me think back to something you had said before too, where it's like, just where I believe some of these men's skaters, they need to focus on the basics. Like, give us better spins, give us higher step sequence, give us transitions in and out of elements. I think, like, yes, the jumps are great, but I mean, look at Jason. He's second here with, I don't think he does a quad,
Yeah.
And I don't think he's ever had a reliable quad. So now, not everyone's going to be a Jason, so we definitely still need our high tech. But I wish there would be a focus on all of it. Just a complete whole skater, I think, would be nice.
Yeah, because like I like spinning. So when I see these world-class skaters and their spins don't even look as good as some of the top adult figure skaters in the US, I'm like, geez, like, what's wrong? There's like such a big gap between how well they can jump these multiple revolution jumps versus having a subpar camel spin position, or just crawling along trying to finish their revolutions. It's just kind of like sad when you can see a big difference where they don't even care about improving spins.
Well, Judy, are you going to be showcasing a spin? You have a video premiere today. Sorry to go off topic, but I know you'll be figure skating as the one and only Donna Adelson. What can we expect from that premiere?
Oh, okay. Well, please have low expectations, because I'm just an old adult skater.
Aw, it's okay.
So, unfortunately, I was wearing these jeans that were a little too loose. So I had to cut out some stuff because I was flashing my underwear when I was doing.
Oh my gosh.
And then I'm wearing these new boots that are too big for me. And it's been very uncomfortable for the last 3 or 4 months since I switched to these boots that are too big, and my toes were like just wiggling around with too much free space in the front and shifting around. So that's why I don't really do anything that impressive. But it's just for fun. It gave me a coach something to work on. So
when I took learn to skate lessons, I would always practice spins. I mean, I could barely do a spin, so don't, it's nothing fancy, but it's so fun, the feeling of doing a spin. So yeah, no, I think even just skating for fun is awesome. So I look forward to your
Yeah.
premiere.
Okay. Thank you. On
Yes.
Live to Skate, figure skating, and travel. Thank you. Thanks.
We can go over 5th and 6th place here quickly.
Okay.
In 5th place, we have Team Canada. We had Alexa Rashik, Roman Sadovsky, Sarah Maud Dupuis, Mari Skizas, Stellato Dudek and Deschamps, and Gillis and Poirier. What did you think of Team Canada?
Okay. Well, I just have to laugh about the guy wearing the bear outfit.
I know.
Is that Maxime?
Yes, it is. It's Deschamps.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now, what was that There was some goofy outfit that Adam Shell Him Fa wore. It was yellow, I think. But now I can't remember what kind of costume it was.
Was it Pikachu
anyway,
or something? I don't even
yeah,
know.
maybe it was Pikachu. I don't know. But yeah, this is just so hilarious with him standing there in a bear. So that's why
I just loved it.
Yeah, you can't take it seriously when everybody keeps getting their personal best. It's like, this is just a cheesy, like, made-for-TV Japanese entertainment show kind of.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah. Oh, and was this guy Paul Poirier? Sorry, I'm not a big fan of ice dancing, as you can tell. Yeah, was he still wearing that goofy suit with the cutout back?
Yes, his backless suit.
Oh my gosh, it's just ridiculous.
It's risque. It's very risque.
Yeah, well, how did you feel about his costume?
I mean, I guess somehow it actually goes with that music. It's kind of strange music, so I suppose a strange costume would work. I mean, it's not my favorite, but I feel like they're artsy ice dancers, and I think together they do look really pretty. So I think there's that. I like the color.
Yeah, the color is nice, but then when you see the back, it's like, what is this? Did you lose a bet and you have to wear that?
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Maybe I'm being too snarky.
No, I get it. I totally get it. Well, also, I guess one thing I'll say about Team Canada, Maddie Skizas and Laura Naki-Gutman are clockwise skaters. So I think that's one, kind of interesting thing. I love a clockwise skater. And also, I do wonder about Stellato Dudek and Deschamps because they got 4th here, barely breaking 200. And I am going to be looking forward to see like what they're going to do next season leading up to the Olympics. I'm just hoping, I don't know if they're going to even be a podium contender at this point. So will be fun to see kind of what they do for next season.
Yeah, I think the Canadians, they did themselves proud. They just weren't better than the other skaters. I think Madeline Skisa skated as well as she could have. So I just remember her being really happy after her free skate. And I think the same with, is it Sarah Maud Dupuis?
Yes.
Yeah, so both of them seemed happy and pleased with their skates. I think just in general, they're not anywhere near as fast or powerful as the Japanese or American skaters. So that's why they couldn't reach the top, but they still did fine. And plus, I was happy for one of my personal favorites because I like his YouTube channel, Roman Sadovsky. So he did pretty well because, he has this reputation for landing some stuff and then falling apart and popping jumps left and right. But he's really done pretty well these last couple of competitions. And let's see. Well, I have here in my notes that he doubled the opening quad sal, but then later he did do a quad sal cow, boiler, triple sal cow, which is really, pretty incredible. That was a big surprise to me. So, he landed a bunch of other triples. He had a nice and fast camel combination spin to end. So I think he can be proud of it. I mean, he's just not going to be like a top contender because he can only do maybe a quad salchow. That seems to be his most reliable quad, but I was happy to see him skate and do pretty well. Yeah. So what stood out to you about this team?
No, kind of the similar thing, especially with Roman. I know he's faced a lot of adversity in his career, and I love a Sao Cow combination. I think it's just so unique. There's an American skater, and her name, of course, is failing me. She trains in Colorado. She does a triple double Sao Cow, like triple Sao Cow, double Sao Cow. And it's just such a unique combination. I love it. And I agree about Maddie and Sarah Maud. I think that, they seemed very pleased. They skated generally well. So, Team Canada is great. I mean, they made it to this competition. But it just, I always look back to like the Megan Duhamel and Eric Radford era when we had like Caitlin Osman, Patrick Chan, Duhamel and Radford. I mean, Canada used to be strong in all disciplines. So it is a little sad that way, but still they skate very beautifully, and they should be very happy. So
and I was happy for Alexa. How do you pronounce his last name? Rakic or something? Alexa, because he's, most people don't know who he is, but he got to compete at this world competition in Japan. So he skated pretty well for someone that hasn't had much experience at these huge competitions. Yeah. So I was happy to see him out there and enjoy the team spirit.
Yes. Well, that takes us to our last place team. I believe this is the first time they've ever been offered an opportunity at World Team Trophy. The first time they had enough skaters. We have Team Georgia. They were composed of Nika Agatse, Morisi, I can't say his last name, Kvitelashvili, Anastasia Gubanova, Alina Urushatse, Medalkina and Berolava, and Davis and Smolkin. Not too much to say here. Just in general, fun that they got to join, and I liked some of their exhibition programs. One of the teams does a Mortal Kombat one that's kind of fun.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
And so I like that. And then there's a Deadpool program that's pretty entertaining. So overall, I mean, good for them for making it. I heard that Alina Urushatse was pulled out of retirement to come to this program, to this competition. So good for her.
Yeah, you could kind of tell that Morrissey and is it Alina Urushatse? You could tell that both of them have not been training competitively this season, but it was still entertaining because I think Urushatse she skated to this like ABBA medley. Maybe it was the short program, and I loved it. Even though she was doing a bunch of double jumps or deliberately doing double jumps, I was like, well, this is just goes to show how fun it can be when you don't have to fixate on triple jumps and worry about splatting everywhere. So, it's still great to see her, especially. But the most exciting skater from this team for me was Gubanova because she did so poorly at Worlds and didn't qualify for the free. But I was like cheering for her. I was so happy for her, and she and her coach or the whole team just seemed thrilled when she skated really wonderfully here. So she redeemed herself.
Oh, she sure did. I believe she beat Monet Chiba too and broke 200. And no, she did amazingly here. And I want to set the record straight, Judy. I did a bunch of shorts on my channel about the exhibitions. I was not drunk, okay? A lot of people, I was very tired that day, and I was watching all these exhibitions. I made one about Anastasia that ISU is paying for her shopping spree because they did not let her get to the free program at Worlds. And just FYI, I was totally coherent, but I kid. But I agree completely. I was really, really happy to see her do so well here.
Yeah, because you always kind of I don't know. I sort of feel sorry for some of these skaters because I don't know how their quality of life or standard of living is. Of course, it annoys me to see a Terry, there because she's really a Russian, and there have been all these stories about her starving her skaters or being emotionally abusive or telling them to do stupid things like don't drink water before the competition or don't drink water because it'll make you fat or something. I mean, it just sounds crazy. So that was kind of aggravating to see her there. And these are her skaters and stuff. And her daughter was one of the ice dancers. But if you put that aside, I did really enjoy seeing Davis and Smolkin. Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
first time I really paid attention to them. And I wasn't expecting much since they were at the bottom of the rankings, but what do I know about ice dancing? I thought they were great. I
Yeah.
thought everything looked good.
I believe
Yeah.
they beat Lopareva and Brissot in the free dance, which that's pretty big because yeah, they've always been kind of a 8th through 10th team since they've come out on the scene. And going back to Terry really quickly, I it's interesting because she actually does have Georgian heritage. So I think in that way it makes sense. But recently, there's been a lot of articles coming out from like Evgenia Medvedeva, her old student, um,
Yeah.
talking about some of the things that you're mentioning in a very kind of roundabout way. It almost seems like she may be kind of scared to say exactly what happened, but she's alluding to some of the things you're talking about, like where she basically, wasn't eating enough and having proper nutrition. So it is interesting to see a Terry here. I guess I get why she can, since her students, some of them are Georgian or representing Georgia, but you know, good for Team Georgia at least, and the skaters who are not affiliated, they still. I'm glad they had a chance to do this. Let's just say that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It was definitely a big money making opportunity for all the skaters, which I like because skating is not that popular here. So
Yes.
this is like a big opportunity for them to finally recoup some of the funds their families have spent to keep them in the sport.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I think World Team Trophy was a big success. Judy, I have a few icy hot topics I wanted to kind of run by you and kind of discuss with you. The biggest news, Judy, I had made my slides, and then midweek, we got the announcement. Maya and Alex Shibutani, known as the Shib Sibs, they have a whole YouTube channel. They are coming back to ice dance after a 7-year hiatus. A lot
Yeah.
of people said it would have been sooner because Maya actually had I think it was kidney cancer in 2019. But what do you think of the news? It kind of blew up the ice dance world this week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know there are a few people who are all naysayers and down on them and stuff, but I'm like, come on, this is exciting. Just the same as how Jason Brown created controversy where some people felt like he should just retire. But um but the Shibutanis, I mean, let them come back if they want to. It's sort of like Daisuke Takahashi, who I guess he was kind of, I shouldn't say directionless, but he said he was depressed and he would just get drunk and stuff. And, like after he retired, he felt like he had no direction. So then he decided he wanted to compete again as a single skater. That didn't really go anywhere. Then he got into ice dancing. But this is totally different because the Shibutanis actually won a bronze Olympic medal and bronze world medal, and they've only been skating with each other for their whole careers. So I think they can do it. I think this brings a lot of excitement. So, you know, I don't see any other US skaters that are really that amazing besides Chalk and Bates and maybe Carrera, Ponomarenko.
Mhm.
Sorry if I'm insulting some people now. Now people are going to get mad, you know, because this is
Okay.
a subjective sport. So whenever
Yeah.
you give your opinions, you don't know if people are just going to be all piping mad because they disagree. But anyway, have I made you mad by giving
No.
my opinions?
No, not at all. And I mean, hey, I think like we've been talking about, this is a sport, so it should be competitive. And no, I'm glad to see them back. Am I surprised? Yes, because there's been a notable absence. You know, I don't even think they've posted many videos in the past year, but I did see some comments online. There's people who practice with them, and they were kind of noticing that over the past few months, Maya and Alex have been practicing for like 4 to 5 hours at a time. So it's like, you know, I think it's kind of been known just low key that they may make a comeback. And um, what does this mean for other ice dancers? Well, I mean, Carrera and Ponomarenko were very clearly upheld at Worlds. They're like the #2 team now. So I think they're probably safe. It's really the third place teams like there's Kolesnik and gosh, I forget his partner's name, and then Green and Parsons. I think they're the ones who are who, you know, their spot may be in jeopardy, but we're just gonna have to see. I mean, who knows what form they're in? I was reading that the ice dance rules have changed a lot since they were skating. It's a little less technical now, which is actually their strength. They're very good technical ice dancers. It's more, there's a little bit more choreographic elements. So we're just gonna have to see. But overall, I think it was just interesting how much chatter it created. I am excited to see them.
Yeah. And so this might seem a little catty, but when I went to that Asian American Pacific Islander skating clinic thing during the World Championships. So Alex and Maya were there. They were some of the featured skaters who showed up for making speeches and photo ops and signing autographs and stuff. So they didn't actually skate, but just based on what I saw, they looked exactly the same as when they were competing. Like they looked totally fit and like they have not aged in the last whatever 7 years since they competed. But on the other hand, Nathan Chen, I was kind of surprised to see him because you could
Yes.
tell that he was no longer in competitive shape. Okay, so I mean, he still looked fine as a normal person, but I was like, oh, that's Nathan Chen. You know, like you could tell he's been hitting the books and studying and doing other things. Whereas the Shibs just look, I mean, if you can just judge by looks, they look like competitive athletes. Yeah. So,
No,
yeah.
absolutely.
So, what, any more thoughts about the ice dance? Because it sounds like you pay more attention to ice dancing than I do.
Yeah, well, I think, hey, that's why we're well-rounded, Judy. Okay, I'll pay attention to the ice dance. You got us on the men and women, so no problem, no
Okay.
problem. But our
Mhm.
next kind of icy hot topic, Ilya Malinin did an interview with People this week. He did state that there's no big changes to his layout, his jump layout. He also did tease that after the Olympics season, he'll be trying quad combos. But yeah, as we head into the Olympic season, what do you think should be Ilya's kind of plan of action?
Um, yeah, I would love to see a quad combination. And I mean, I think I've seen him do it on like Instagram or something just for fun. Now I can't remember. Maybe it was a quad axle, quad toe or something pretty amazing. I remember seeing it somewhere within the last year. Um, so, but I think he is finally being challenged by Mikhail Shedorov. So, you know, Ilya can't take it for granted that he's going to win by a landslide, get a 30-point lead over all his competitors and stuff, because suddenly we have this other guy who can do, what did he do? A triple axle quad toe, or was that quad lutz, Euler quad? I can't even remember now, but Mikhail is totally challenging him now. And I bet his PCS is going to suddenly rise next fall.
Yeah,
So
it'll be so fun to see. And Ilya did mention in the article that, he's not sure what route he's going to go with his programs yet. He's kind of thinking how he wants to appear. And I think with the Olympic season, you want to bring out the best version of yourself. I don't think you want to go too left field. I feel like judges like seeing more of who you are as a skater, in the traditional sense. So I do wonder if he's going to do another like rock pop thing, or if he's going to go a different direction. I think something classical actually might be kind of cool from him. So we're going to have to go ahead and see. But yeah, just wanted to run this by you.
yeah, I'm just so excited to see what he's going to come up with this next season because it seems like he is improving in terms of his musical expression. We've seen him do some beautiful exhibition programs and
Yes.
um he's still not at Jason Brown levels of edges and spins and flexibility, but he's pretty good now, I would say.
Absolutely. And that brings us on to another hot topic. You had mentioned it at the beginning of our schedule here, but the
Oh,
2025 Grand Prix season was announced. We have like a total shuffle. I just was like, when I first saw it, I was like, what? We're not starting with Skate America? It's like a tradition. But yeah, like you said, Skate America is not going to be till November 14 through 16. We're starting with Grand Prix France, Cup of China, Skate Canada, NHK, Skate America, and then Finlandia. And the final will be go back to Japan this year. So kind of cool. I mean, it was definitely interesting to see. And I read online, I was able to find a rumor that Skate America should be announced probably in this month. And the rumors are Lake Placid, New York, or Arizona. So what do you think of
yeah.
that?
Oh, please let it be Tempe, Arizona, because I sure as heck cannot get to Lake Placid. It sounds like a total
Yes.
pain to try to
Mhm.
get to Lake Placid. And people said they couldn't even get Uber or
Mhm.
Lyft in Lake Placid because there are so few people there. You like there's no business, so nobody's doing Uber or Lyft. So yeah, so I would only go if it's in Arizona because people on Figure Skating Universe, they said that the arena, if it's there, is actually so convenient to get to from the airport. Like everything is easy. That's what I look for as a crazy skate fan. Like, do I have to rent a car? No. How far is the airport from the hotel? Are there hotels walking distance to the arena? Is it safe? Because I'm going to be walking usually by myself. So I sure hope it's in Tempe. What about you? Do you think you would go?
I will not be going if it's Lake Placid. And I
Yeah.
love, yeah. I went to Texas last year and I was like, this is the Wild West. But yeah, so if it's Arizona, definitely that'll be more convenient for me. And I would love to try and go. It is later in the year though, so I mean that's just something different to plan out. But yeah, we're gonna have to see. It'd be interesting if it's a third location. Maybe it's neither of these, but these are the two that I heard USFS is shopping out. So we're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah. Where was Skate America last year? Was it
It was Allen,
Athens?
Texas.
Oh, was it a lot of trouble to get there?
Yes, you had to drive, and the hotels are not that close. And but it was, I have to say though, the arena itself was nice. It was nice, but just driving around there, the highways are just very different. I wasn't used to it. So
Oh, so you rented a car?
yes, yes.
Oh, you're adventurous. I think I'm too chicken, too scared to rent a car and drive through totally unfamiliar highways and roads and stuff. So, yeah. So, yeah, because I thought about going to Skate America last year, or, anytime I think about going to a skating competition, my biggest concern is how close is this place from the airport and how do I
Yeah,
get there? Yeah, without having to rent a car. So places like Lake Placid, boy, like people have said it's still like a 2+ hour drive from the airport, and the airport
yeah.
is still a very small one.
No, thank you. We'll pass on that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think I have just a few last topics here.
Okay.
Let's see.
Sorry,
Oh no, you're
something's
fine.
acting up with my little
I think I could do it. There we go.
touchpad. Okay.
Okay, so a story broke this week that the CEO of Safe Sport, Jurisa Cologne, was ousted. So they somehow they did release a very nice. I mean, the statement was very nice itself. They said we're grateful for her leadership and service, and as we look ahead, we'll continue to focus on the center's core mission of changing sport to keep athletes safe from abuse. So I think that was really nice. And a former Paralympian, April Holmes, is the interim CEO. So just kind of interesting. Safe Sport was created, I believe, in 2019. And, we don't really know why she was ousted. We don't know what exactly was happening. I guess Congress does have some questions for them. But overall, I am glad that this exists for athletes and that we are focusing on safety. So just kind of a topic I wanted to mention briefly.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know about this. So thanks for the news.
Yeah. And let's see here. Oh, Ireland is, yes. Ireland might be our next biggest skating place, Judy. We have a 190 million euro center being built. It's going to have 2 Olympic-sized stadiums. Judy, would you go, or Olympic rinks? Would you go to Ireland for skating, Judy?
I've never been to Ireland before. So that sounds really exciting. Yeah, because I would like to, one of these days, I think it would be exciting to go to Worlds in another country or finally see the Olympics in person. But I don't want it to be like some totally unfamiliar type of place where I could feel unsafe, and have a lot of struggles traveling and stuff. So, yeah, this sounds wonderful. Yeah, do you think you would go?
Yes, I have been to Dublin before when I was in college, and it's such a fun area. And I think this one is in South Dublin. I had to look up like where's Cherrywood, but it's gonna be 2 Olympic-sized rinks, 5,000 seating capacity. They're gonna have a conference space. So yeah, I think if like a Worlds or maybe a Europeans were to be there, I would definitely check it out. So I'm excited whenever we have a non-Russian country creating more winter sport arenas, I'm excited for that. So just wanted to
Yeah,
mention.
yeah, that's great.
Okay, Judy, I said I had a surprise for you. The purple
Oh,
shirt may be coming back. Shun Sato is keeping ladies around
no.
here.
Oh, I hope they have a budget for him to get a new costume. Even if he just wore one of those like Nathan Chen like tops, that would be an improvement over that. It just reminded me of Shrek with the Prince character wearing this kind of like Prince Charming tight shirt with the little, what do you call those? Those like puffy sleeves, lamb chop sleeves or something.
Yeah. Well, as soon as I saw the news, I was like, uh-oh, the return of the purple shirt. I have to let Judy know if we're going to be seeing this for another whole year, you need to be prepared. So just wanted to bring it up.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, so just the last little topic here. We had some program announcements. They're starting to roll in very lightly. Misha G, a choreographer from Uzbekistan, posted on his Instagram, Heian Lee is skating to My Way for the short program. Carmen for the long program. I really wanted a dramatic program for her. Rio Nakata, who you've mentioned before, he's doing Gladiator soundtrack. Um, Kazuki Tomono, he's doing a song called That's It, I'm Crazy. And Shaylin Bourne is going to do his free skate. Rion Sumiyoshi is doing Alba Lullaby. And Ami Nakai, who was a junior skater this year from Japan, she's keeping her Cinderella free program and a new short program. So, yeah, any thoughts on these announcements?
So I'm assuming My Way is not the Frank Sinatra song. I don't know some of these songs, but I like Carmen. Carmen, I haven't heard Carmen in a long time since they started letting people skate to vocals. So it's kind of good to bring out this war horse music that Katarina Witt and Debbie Thomas skated too. So that's exciting. And I think Gladiator sounds right for Rio Nakata because he's such an exciting, youthful skater and stuff. So that'll be good for him. I don't know some of these songs, but I think that's good if Shaylin Bourne is going to choreograph for Kazuki. Hopefully that keeps him from doing more goofy mugging for the camera types of goofy moves and stuff. Like, I don't know. There's just something unlikable about, I shouldn't say unlikable. I just don't like some of his choreographic moves and his like strange facial weird looks. It's like it's so cringe. So yeah, that's why I never enjoyed watching him skate, because it's like he's trying too hard to be expressive and does some sort of like goofy moves.
Well, we're going to have to see. It'll be very fun. And I think I just have one more slide here, Judy. What was your best moment? It could be World Team Trophy. It could be the whole season. It's done. So what was your best moment, Judy?
Gosh.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Choose. It's so well. Okay. Well, one of the best moments was when Amber was so happy after her free skate and she landed her triple axel, because she was probably just like poor Kaori Sakamoto. Like poor Amber was probably thinking she's like on a downward slide too after what happened at Worlds. People thought she was going to win Worlds and she didn't even medal. Then she didn't do well in the short because she fell hard on her triple axel, but then she landed it and did a pretty great program for the free. So, and it was just so nice seeing everyone so supportive. And she even said to the media that she appreciated the support from Team USA. Everyone was so supportive of her, even though she didn't do well in the short program. So it was kind of like redemption for her as well as for Anastasia Gubanova. So I was really happy for both of them. So what about you? What was your best moment?
Okay, so there's just so many to pick. I'm honestly in shock that the season is over. I can't believe it. And honestly, just going to Worlds, that was a dream come true. So that's one of them. But also just seeing the joy these skaters had at World Team Trophy, I'm so happy for them because, figure skating to me seems like such a sport of perfectionism. It's a sport of tenths. And to see them just enjoy what they're doing, but still go out and, earn ISU points and get personal bests and all those things. I think just overall, Japan doing this competition is such a benefit to the sport, especially with prize money. So I would say that just it being there at all is just my favorite thing. So really, really fun to watch and talk with you.
Oh, that's great. Okay, I think I just missed my premiere, but that's okay because it's nothing much. It was probably just like 2 minutes scooting around on the ice. Yeah.
I gotta go, Judy. I need to go watch it, so we're gonna have to go.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you guys. Thanks for supporting both our channels. It was great talking to you, Kelly.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Judy. I hope we can do it again, and you guys all have a wonderful night.
Definitely. Bye. Thank you.